If you're wondering if you're actually close to blowing up on YouTube, if it's a goal that you've had for a long time, there are certain habits, there are signals that show that you're on the right track or not, long before the views ever even show up. And man, I wish I knew these signals sooner, because every single one of these signals I have found or seen in creators that I have seen blown up. And if you spot even a few of these in yourself, in your content, in your channel, well, you're way closer than you think to absolutely exploding on YouTube. By the way, guys, really quickly, I created a custom app. Well, if you fill out step by step, it will actually output a perfectly optimized YouTube strategy for you in 2026. So if you guys want that completely for free and you guys want access to my 4+ hour long YouTube growth course, you can get that for free, no strings attached, in the first link in the description below. All right, cool. So the first signal that I noticed with all of the creators who end up blowing up is they obsess over what I call before click behavior. Okay, so let's backtrack a second. Let's start with what happens before anyone even clicks to understand what this concept is that I'm talking about. Now, breakout bound creators spend a crazy amount of time on title phrasing, on thumbnail implication, and really expectation setting. Basically, that just means that they focus on making their titles feel a little uncomfortable, unfinished, or loaded with curiosity, never just these boring neutral titles, right? If a channel understands that human psychology is the real currency, growth, it's just a matter of time. So signal one is that you obsess over what I called before click behavior, basically just making sure that your titles and thumbnails evokes an immense amount of curiosity, or that it sets an appropriate expectations, that it's phrased uniquely, or just hits on the psychology of content, pain points, and desires. For example, I've shared this example in the past on videos, but a video that I was working on was called, with a client, we titled it 7 Ways to Make Money Online in 2025. But after we focused on this through the lens of the rule I told you, before click behavior, well, we ended up coming up with a title that was way more clickable. It stood out way more, and it hit on pain points and desires of his audience. It was titled 7 Hard But Simple Profitable Businesses to Start Today If You Need Money ASAP. Cool, now let's talk about how you talk to your viewers. Because, I mean, here's the thing, most creators, they speak outward like they're talking to a crowd, but the creators who crush it, the high potential creators, or the creators who are about to crush it, they speak inward. They say things like, you're probably thinking, or this part always confused me too, or here's where most people get this thing wrong. It's little phrases like that. When you hear those phrases, you just feel relatability. You feel seen within like the first few seconds of a video, and that's rare. And it's also something that scales. So basically, just to recap that, the second signal that I see for channels that are about to blow up are they talk to a specific internal thought, not just an audience. They talk to the camera like they're talking to one person. Now, what do you do when something actually works on YouTube? That's a question I wanted to ask you. Because channels that have no chance of blowing up or just fail, they chase new topics every single week. But winning channels, they repeat what has already worked, but with a twist. In fact, here's a banger trick for you right now, so you're welcome. Take your top 3 best performing videos on your channel. I want you to go ahead and put those into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, what are the commonalities between all of these videos? Could you please turn all of my most popular videos into a repeatable format that I could follow? When you do this, what ChatGPT will do is output a formula for you to follow in order to create a repeatable format in an adjacent way so that you can double down on what's been proven to work on your channel already. I don't know why more people aren't doing this. So just to recap, the third signal here I see on channels that are about to blow up is that they reuse winning structures, videos that have already performed well, and they turn them into formats that they could repeat. Now let's talk about analytics, okay? Because creators who never ever look at their analytics, they will stall out. It's not if, it's when. But creators who worship analytics, they're also wrong. They become super boring. The creators who crush it, the creators who break out or blow up, they are the ones who sit somewhere in the middle between those two sides. They double down on what works, but they keep their own voice. And that balance is super hard and super rare, but also impactful. Basically, put simply, this fourth signal that we're talking about that I see channels do is they let data influence their decisions without killing their personality. There's another habit almost nobody talks about, and it's retention. Most creators who end up failing, that 99% we're talking about, what they do is just hope people keep watching their videos. But the high growth creators, the creators who have a huge chance of blowing up, or the creators who already did, they plan for retention before they ever even film. And this is key here, guys. They design their videos to keep people hooked, not just hope it happens. As I said before, hope is not a strategy. So the fifth signal to recap here, or just to sum it up, that I see channels who are gonna blow up fast is they basically design retention before filming. Usually the best way to do this is by optimizing your script and making sure you're not just giving everything away right away, but you're giving them a reason to continue to watch. Okay, now let's talk about understanding your video's metrics, which kind of what we were just talking about, but now from a different lens, because this is honestly one of the most strongest predictors as to whether a creator is gonna blow up or not. Now, I bet you if you ask a creator why their videos did well, you'll see two groups of people. One, the group that I call weak creators, and they basically would just say, yeah, it did well because the algorithm pushed it. And then you have a group of strong creators, and they'll give you a clear, super grounded answer. They'll explain basically like the cause and effect as to why that video performed or didn't perform without sounding super vague or cliche. This all means they can do it again. So if you can explain why a video worked or why it didn't work, this is a huge signal that you are about to blow up if you haven't already. With that being said though, I wanna take a second and talk about ego. I mean, this one's gonna be brutal. I'm gonna get super real with you guys for a second. Most creators protect their identity or their ego, but the creators who blow up, they protect results. What do I mean? I mean, they pivot formats or angles or even their whole niche or direction when the feedback is abundantly clear without spiraling out emotionally. I like to think of it like the most successful investors in the world. They implement something called the law of detachment, basically meaning they detach all emotion from results and in effect become the best of the best within the investing world. Well, we need to just do the exact same thing, but with our content. We need to detach our emotions from our videos and from the performance of our videos. Stop doing everything from such an emotional perspective. Ego doesn't scale, but adaptation does. So basically, all this to say, another huge signal that I see in creators, just to sum this part up, is the ones who are about to blow up, they're willing to abandon ideas even if they like it, if it's necessary, if the data is telling them to. Okay, but now what about your channel's feel, right? Not a niche, not a topic, but like a lens, the feeling people get when they go to your channel. See, when you can predict how a creator will approach a topic, even if you don't know what the topic is, that's brand, that's trust, that's what makes people binge. I think that a really, really good example that I could share with you guys on this is a creator, Daniel Dalen. He creates POV vlogs about business and entrepreneurship, but there are so many videos on his channel that have nothing to do with either of those things because it's not a niche, it's not a topic, it's a lens, it's a brand that he's built, right? So the eighth signal that you're really about to blow up on YouTube, if you haven't already, and this one's more, take it with a grain of salt, is that your channel has a clear lens, which brings us to our final signal. But before I go over that, I want to ask you guys a question, okay? How do you think about growth? Genuinely think about it. How do you think about growth? See, when it comes to YouTube growth, you shouldn't be asking ever, will this video go viral? What you should be asking is, if this video works, what will it unlock for the channel next? What in the world do I mean? I mean, the commonality between some of the best creators on the platform is that their uploads almost feel like steps. It feels like an ecosystem, not just random uploads. And this, mainly particularly for entrepreneurs, this is how channels can explode without luck or convert really well. So the ninth and final signal that you're going to blow up on YouTube is if you think in compounding decisions, not just viral moments. If you think about basically creating a content ecosystem where people can come into your channel and just spend the entire day binge watching. So for example, if I created a video on how to grow to 1,000 subscribers and that whole video is really talking about ideation, I might think beforehand, oh, how could I build this into an ecosystem? Well, now the next video I make might be talking about how to come up with viral thumbnails, because the next step in the process would be coming up with your packaging and then scripting, right? So if I have that video about how to grow 1,000 subscribers, all about ideation, at the end of that video, I could tell people, by the way, guys, all of this is useless if you don't know how to create amazing clickable thumbnails, but I cover how to do that in this video, so you could watch that next, right? Then they enter into my channel, my content ecosystem, and then they binge watch my content, and YouTube prioritizes, channels that keep people watching for longer. So it's just a positive feedback loop. Now, with that being said, guys, one last time, if you guys want to shortcut all this and you want a complete A to Z blueprint on how to grow on YouTube and you want to do it fast, well, I just launched a completely free YouTube growth course. You could click the first link in the description below to go join it, to go check it out. Or you could go watch this video next to go into my content ecosystem if you guys want to learn even more about the process of growing on YouTube. With that being said, I appreciate you guys being here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.